Just pretty quiet.
Oh. I'll do backup.
Yeah,
Hey, weirdos. It's me, Dan.
and Jake, his brother. We could have done that. We could have done like women's voices when we recorded the original, but now it's kind of
It's
set
too
in
late.
stone.
Well, yeah, people are so familiar, like the 40-odd listeners that we have.
Do we have 40 odd? I mean, you'd have to be odd to listen to this one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think typically it goes to 40. And then, like, they get trickled in after. But, like, when we release it, about 40 downloads. It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty popular.
I've been watching all kinds of ghost content and unsolved mysteries, paranormal stuff, and I didn't prepare anything.
Has the BuzzFeed Unsolved? Are they doing paranormal things again, or are they?
So they, the two guys, Ryan and Shane, and
Yes.
they went with Stephen Lim from Worth It, and they started their own channel called Watcher.
Ah,
and they
so it's not
do-
BuzzFeed Unsolved anymore.
No, you got to go on the Watcher channel. It's really good. So this is not a paid promotion for the 40 odd listeners that we have.
Well, I mean, but hold on. So, but BuzzFeed Unsolved still exists, or is it different people now?
No, it still exists. They have different people for a lot of it, but for the segments of like the traditional Ryan and Shane ones, they still work there. They're still on the payroll.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Oh,
right. So,
But I think what happens is like you take a job at BuzzFeed, and they're like, "Oh, we'll pay $40,000 a year to generate $20 million a year in income,"
yeah,
and so they,
yeah. They're like, fuck that.
By the way,
Yeah. Oh,
season's
jingle.
greetings.
Yes, Merry Holiday. That's how you say it in politically correct speak.
Santa Claus is now a woman, and did we talk about
And
this?
Mrs. Claus is her stay-at-home husband,
Exactly.
Mr. Claus.
The three kings, one of them, the one with the frankincense, is trans.
Jake. Oh my gosh! You know what? I was watching my favorite news source, TikTok, and one of them was like it was a cartoon version, but like a training video, I suppose, of how they do their transition surgery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They turn it inside out.
Yeah.
Like they take all the guts out, they leave the head, and then they kind of turn it inside out.
Yeah. They just
That's
turn you
not
into. Look,
I mean, it's
I'm
not going to be
I'm not
the
here to
deepest.
judge you if that's what you want to do, but don't go
doesn't-
thinking that that's what a normal anatomy looks like, because it's not. That's not what. it
Well,
looks
and
like
also,
normally.
like, it would have a very blind end. Like, it would end very abruptly, I would feel.
I know, and every time you pee, your belly gets bigger.
What?
Because you
Why?
pee in your, I'm just joking.
Oh,
Because you pee inside out.
no. I don't think that's how it works.
Listen to me. I did a week of urology when I was in medical school.
Yeah, that's right. I know all there is to know.
I got in a fight
yeah, I thought-
today with a urologist, and
I-
it was
I
a
found
really
that-
odd fight. I
found
didn't. Well, I won't tell you the story.
I didn't want to touch the wiener, and he was like, "You have to touch the wiener."
No, it was. So listen, this is what happened to me. I've
And
been
you're like,
really
"It's
nice.
not. It's if it was on a patient, it's fine, but I'm not touching your wiener."
Ever since Dad died, I decided I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm always going to be a gentleman. Nobody's going to think of me as
How's
an
that
asshole.
going?
This is not good. But I've tried. I've genuinely tried. I've never been mean on the phone, like since Dad died. I've always been nice.
Only in person. Only
Only in
face to
person.
face.
and on Twitter. But I've been very nice to everyone who I've been interacting with. And I got this call tonight. I was really busy all day, and I was still at work because we were busy. And I got a call, and it was a urologist, and he said, "Listen, I got this patient. I'm sending her to you. I tried to get a stent in from her bladder. I couldn't do it. You got to do it. I said, okay. What's her name? You know, he gave me the name. I said, and like what do you want specifically? And he's like, look, I don't have fucking time for this. That's what he said. And I said, wait, I'm trying to help you. I said, I just need to know, like, because it's a transplant kidney. It was like complicated. I just need to know, like, what you want me to use. It's like, fuck, this is ridiculous. Fucking day. Now I got to deal with this fucking radiologist. I was like, holy shit. So I said, look, come down, meet me in the hallway. He's like, I don't have time. I'm going home to get drunk.
Oh my gosh.
So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to figure this out. But if he gives me shit again, I'm always going to remember that his patient needed help and I stayed to help them while he went home to get drunk. So
exactly.
In my mind, I'm just like, what a dickhead. It was totally dickish. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you never know someone else's struggles, but that guy sounds like a total fucking anal bead, to be honest.
But he's always been a nice guy. So I wonder if I had, in my mind, I'm like, what did I do to set this guy off? Because I think he said, look, I don't want to stay here on the weekend doing cases. And I said, just kind of joking. I was like, nobody wants to stay on the weekend doing cases. And I think that's when he went ballistic.
Well, I mean, I've not had a very eventful week. Well, I don't know what we talked about the last time. Kronk.
The Kronk who stole Christmas. Yeah.
I have done really nothing new since then.
Well, you went dirt biking with Elijah.
No, well, that was but I did that. Wow. Do you do strokes from remote? Can you fix my remote stroke?
And what's that? What does the kid say in that video? It's like, and they just and then they touch you. Where
do you ever dream that you can fly?
Yeah.
No, but
I like turtles.
I went there after. Fuck me. We talked about that on the last podcast, though.
Oh, did we? Yeah, it's been.
Yes.
I mean, nothing's happening. We've been locked down, right? So we just kind of. Oh, I will tell you what did happen though. We on lockdown, and I've been. You know what? The lead up to the holidays in medicine is fucking insane. I don't know if it's just this year because we put off so much stuff because of the pandemic, and now we're trying to catch up. I don't know what's happened, but we're really busy. And so last weekend was my first weekend not on call in 3 weeks. I had really busy call schedule for whatever reason. And, or not on call and not locked down. That was the story.
Get out.
But as you know, we got the cabin in the Miramichi.
Oh yeah, cabin in the woods.
But I'd never been to it. So,
what will you do? Have you like spent a night there yet?
Yeah. Okay. So this is my story.
Because I was going to say, what if it's haunted? Like maybe they're like,
oh,
okay, we
dude,
need to trick some fucking loser into buying this place because this poltergeist.
That honestly went through my mind, but I think the problem is sewage smell more than haunting. Anyway.
Oh no.
But so what did happen is that I had the weekend off and I was going to rent a U-Haul because I've got all this like old furniture. You know, I've bought new furniture since Halifax, and it would just migrate furniture to the basement. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm going to move the old furniture to this camp because it's still pretty comfortable. It's just kind of got scratches and cuts in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? So one thing that Mom bought a new chair. I went shopping for a chair with Mom because I wanted a good recliner for the camp. And we went shopping, and she bought a chair. And I didn't. So she got this leather chair, and you remember the chair that Colin Marr blew candle wax all over?
Yeah, about a million years ago.
Yeah, like, so that had been her...
when you were in high school, yeah.
Yeah, that had been her chair, and she decided she wanted to get rid of it. So I made Mum, who's 70 years old, carry it out to the car with me, and she hurt her back.
I know. And she's got, like, potential cancer knee.
Slim. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just arthritis. Slim. Anyway.
Slim. Sorry, the dog's chewing my blinds. Slim, go on, get. Slim, get in.
That was the Australian Texas accent.
He just looks at me. He's so fucking stupid. Slim, go on.
Fact: farting helps reduce high blood pressure and is good for your health. My friend's comment. Well, my husband must have the best fucking blood pressure in the history of the human race. Anyway, so I got Mum to move this chair. It's missing a chair leg, by the way.
Oh.
And
Brick
we
will
put it in
fix
the
that.
back of my truck, and I was like, okay, tomorrow, I moved the chair into my house, and then I said, tomorrow I'm going to get a U-Haul from work. And then I'm going to take up, because I've got a nice Duck Dynasty style recliner, like with the, like the camouflage mossy oak pattern. It's pretty cheesy. I've got that. I've got the chair that I took from Mom's house, and I've got like an extra bed. So I was going to take all that stuff up to the camp on last weekend. But I worked, and it was fucking busy, and by the time I was done, I missed the U-Haul people. So all I had was my pickup truck. So all I brought was one chair, and we went up. We had to take turns sitting in the chair. We time it for 5 minutes. There's
Was that
nothing to
with
do
Mom
there. There's
or
no
with
TV.
Chrissy?
There's nothing. What's that?
Was it with Mom or Chrissy?
Chrissy. This is Chrissy and Jack.
Right. Yeah.
So we did the drive up, and one of the things with this place is that I had to build a new driveway into it because the existing driveway is off a lane that I don't have a right of way to, and the owner who has the right of way is an asshole. So I was like, oh fuck, whatever. I'll just build the driveway. So I'd called this construction company, and they said they could do it. So when we got there, this driveway, which I was expecting to be like 2 ruts through the woods, they fucking cut down all my woods. It's like a 2-lane highway. It's enormous. And the bill is going to be like $15,000 for this driveway. Like a fucking idiot. Anyway, and they cut all the wood, but they cut it really long, knowing that I won't be able to fix it. So that eventually I'm going to call them to take it away, and they're going to get to sell it.
You just cut it up.
I'm going to get a chainsaw. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's too much wood. It's nice wood.
Look, let's be strategic about how we do this. You need to get Nick's dad to come fishing and say, hey, maybe I could borrow
when
your
you're
chainsaw. You could show me how to you could show me how to chop the wood with the chainsaw, and then it will just, then it happens. It's just
There's
magic.
enough wood that I could justify buying a chainsaw. They cut, this thing is deep in the woods, right? I bought all these acres of land that's just woods. So, so now they've cut down my woods, and now I have all this wood to deal with.
You should see if you can this is going to sound bizarre. You know how we have everyone in our family has just recently died of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, how does this happen? Well, I was on a conference call the other day, and there were 50 people in the call.
Sure.
And it sounded like someone's background sounded like they were dropping napalm in Vietnam. Like it was like
Like a helicopter.
yeah. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And they're like, oh yeah, we live on the marsh, so after it rains they come and dump all these chemicals to get rid of the mosquitoes. Like it was happening all day long.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Every time we're at Disney World, I think of that because they go down with foggers at night. I don't know if you've ever been awake and seen them do it, but they go out and literally fog Disney World with this poison that kills mosquitoes. And every time I'm there, I think, I wonder if this causes pancreatic cancer.
It's so crazy. I mean, it's great because we have, being a tropical sort of land, we have a lot of arthropod-borne diseases. Pod-borne diseases.
Yeah, sure. Malaria, hay fever.
Yeah, but come on, man. There's got to be a better way. Maybe drain the marsh. I don't know. Put a big net over it.
Yeah.
Like some fly screen.
Just like a giant blue light but it's huge.
Yes.
Like the size of a gigantic highway that runs around the rim of the marsh. And every time the mosquitoes think, oh, I'll come out. No, wait, what's that light? Bzzz.
Well, I was thinking, the blue lights that they have at diners and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I don't think those are zappy lights. I think they just draw them in and maybe they're like a
lobster
suction
trap?
device. Lobsters. Okay, so we're in this big economical war with China.
Yeah.
Because they're not
Good for you,
I
because
don't-
we're just doing whatever they want.
well, they're not buying our stuff anymore. So
You can't trust that Chinese Communist Party. There.
like barley, I think they've stopped. They've put tariffs on barley or something like that.
Yeah, they
and-
did that with us with beef.
Yeah,
And
and now
canola.
all of a sudden, like, we never have lobster here.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but it's because it's an export product. I guess because Australians don't like eat enough of it, so they're just like, well, it exists here. Let's send it to China.
Well, they have
So-
Moreton Bay bugs.
Well, yeah, we eat the bugs, but
That's like crawfish or something, isn't it?
I don't know what it is. It's fucking strange. It tastes exactly like lobster. But anyway,
Tastes
these
like lobster.
all of a sudden we are inundated with half-price lobster because
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So I'm gonna go out and get some today.
Do you get
because
Do you
they're
get
not-
the lobster like we have here, the Atlantic lobster, or are you
No.
getting the like spiny, like Asian,
spiny?
Japanese lobster? They're so
Yeah.
cool. Have you ever watched? Like sometimes I go on YouTube Spiral and I watch people killing seafood.
Oh,
It's like
I think
street,
you sent me that.
street
It's
food
like
in
something
Japan,
Traveler.
street food.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the lobster ones are crazy. But those lobsters look delicious. I would
The
eat those.
squid ones are the ones that freak me out the most.
Yeah.
They're like, look, it's still, the chromophores are still going off. I'm like, oh, that's because it's still fucking alive. I better eat
Do you
it quick."
want? Now, were you there in Halifax when I took Dad to House of Nanking? No. Shit, I can't remember. Sushi
House of
Royal, Nami
No, I
Royal
don't know.
Sushi.
Oh, no, but he told me about it.
Yeah, so we got. Dad loved what's squid
Sushi
called? Calamari.
Squid. Oh,
Calamari.
Yeah.
Anyway, he loved getting it, and he ordered this big thing of calamari. But they must have like flash fried it alive, and it came out, and it was all the tentacles were moving,
squid
and they were
wing.
moving. And he was like, "Well, I'm not going to waste the money, but this is really disgusting."
I
He
know.
ate it. He said, "I
know.
can feel it like trying to crawl out."
I know. Well, we've rescued this baby bird. Did I tell you about this?
No,
I've put it on my Insta stories, but we rescued
I'm
a
not
baby
on the
bird,
gram.
and it was Grahamtown. That's my boss's name is Graham, and it takes it like in my head. I'm like, don't say Grahamtown, don't say Grahamtown.
what's Grahamtown? Like Instagram, you mean?
Instagram, but it's what they say. What Shane calls it Instagram on BuzzFeed Unsolved. He's like, oh, let's go to Grahamtown. Anyway, so so Elijah, my son, found this baby bird, and it was tiny, like smaller than the palm of my hand. And we propped it back up we made a nest for it and hoping that the parents would come look for it. Well, here comes like tropical storm crazy, and we go down to check on it, and baby bird is covered in ants with its feet up in the air on its back, and I was like, oh, Elijah, I'm so sorry. Like I think he's a goner. And lo and behold, the fucking thing was alive, and we couldn't trust the parents of this bird to look after it. So we're like, okay, well, we'll bring it in. We've had it for like 2 months now. It's getting pretty big.
It's not so much a baby bird anymore.
It's not a baby bird. It's a butcher bird, and it is so.
Are they the ones that fly down and
job.
try and whack you in the head?
No,
Okay.
those are magpies.
Magpies.
These guys are the ones that warble, so they kind of sound like.
Oh yeah, they're nice. They're nice.
Yeah, he's a cool bird, but we've done a terrible job of rehabilitating him for the wild.
He's
So-
just basically a pet now.
He's a pet, but he roams free. So we kept him inside until he was big enough to fly. And then we started feeding him mealworms. And then just recently I was like, okay, we need to up the ante because this bird needs to be able to fend for himself. Like, what if we go on holiday or something?
Yeah.
So we got these things called superworms, which are the size of my pinky finger. And when you touch them, they freak the fuck out.
They're like night crawlers here.
Well, no, but they're like a grub. They're not a worm.
Okay.
Like they've got a shell, kind of.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and I picked it up, and they try to grab onto your fingers, and I'm just like, fuck, this is awful. And I flicked it to him, and he went, whoop, 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 like just right down the hatch, just like he did with the mealworms, except these things were flipping out, and I could see inside his gizzard. It looked like one of those, late stage pregnant women where the arms and legs are kicking.
The footprint.
And then he kind of looked at me like, "What the fuck is going on, man? What did you just feed me?" Oh man, they're gross. Fuck, the world is full of gross fucking things.
Yeah, of course it is. We have often wondered, like, okay, say there was no octopuses, and one day you saw an octopus. Nobody had ever seen one before. I would just assume it was an alien.
Well,
be like, there's no way that thing evolved on the same.
There's a theory that they have come from another planet, octopi.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Somebody came up with that theory based on exactly what I'm just saying.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
that doesn't fit the bill.
Yeah, but when you look back, there's octopuses and squids and octopi or whatever, and there's certainly a family of animals that look like that.
Yeah,
but they're so fucking weird. Electric eels. How did something evolve to electrocute you? That's crazy. That should have come from a different planet.
Shook me like an electric eel. Have you heard that song, or is it just in the States?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's called Electric Eel, and you should look it up. It's catchy.
Not a
obviously.
promotion.
My brain has been, I think because I've been not engaged in a lot of like mentally exhausting activities, so my brain has been allowed to wander over the last week or so. And I've been watching these things on geology and how like peridot and stuff, peridot beaches exist in Hawaii, and it's just these green beaches. And then they're like, there's also peridot that comes from space. And I'm like, all of our rocks are like, some of them have just come into the planet from outer space, and we just are so like
the planet probably was an accumulation of rocks from space that accreted together in an accretion disk to make a planet 5 billion years ago or so.
Jake, that's what we call blasphemy, and I will not stand for it.
Look, the human race has been around for 420 years. That's it.
Really?
No.
420? No, I don't think so.
Anyway,
how long have the human beings been here?
How long have human beings been here? Well, there's, I think the first evidence of Homo sapiens is 35,000 years. But realistically, it's probably been longer than that, right?
Well, because Jesus died 2,020 years ago.
Yeah. It's weird to think, though, it would be weird for me to think that, like, St. Peter, who founded, or St. Paul, who founded Christianity, and those guys, and they built those big churches in Rome with their bodies in them, are, like, more than 5% between us and Homo erectus. I don't think that adds up. You know what I mean? There's been too many years of civilization.
That got too intellectual for me. You lost me at Homo.
I just mean, like, it seems like there have probably been people for, I don't know, 150,000 years or more.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, to get to the point of writing things down and, the building the pyramids, all that shit, to think that they were like, oh, they've only not been cavemen for 10,000 years doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
To me. Anyway. What was I going to tell you, though? Oh, yeah, the camp. We brought one chair. Driveway was huge. But the funny thing was, we brought the dog, and I didn't bring her shock collar. Normally, the dog gets up to pee in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We just let her out. And I didn't bring it, so I was like, shit. Got to take her on the leash. So I took her out to pee in the middle of the night or whatever. And the next morning I got up to take her for a walk, and we went out. It's snowing here. Like, now we've got a foot of snow on the ground here, but in Miramichi you get more than that, right? So there was quite a bit of snow on the ground. It snowed the night we were there. And I took the dog out in the morning for a walk, and we went out, and there were fucking coyote tracks everywhere. So if we had let the dog out if we'd let the dog out for a pee, she would have been eaten for sure.
How do you know? Like, is it because there were two sets of tracks but only one front paw? Like, how do you know that they were fucking?
Well, there were giant dog prints. Like our dog is
It's gone over.
11
So
pounds.
The joke was lost.
I missed it.
Fucking coyote prints.
Oh.
Only one set of.
Only one set of front paws. Gotcha, because they do doggy style. Sorry. I got it now. That was a pretty good joke, actually. I told an inappropriate joke at work today. I'm hoping it doesn't come back on me. Somebody brought a fruit basket, and I was standing there with some of the nurses. We were waiting between cases, and I took one of the bananas out of the fruit basket. I held it so it was like a U shape. I said, "Hey, look, banana." And then I turned it upside down so it was like droopy, and I said, "Banana."
Oh. Oh no! You should have deep throated it and then said,
Yeah, no, do you get it? Because it's like a cock. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat my banana and read some X-rays.
Gosh. Well, there's again on my favorite news source, TikTok. I sent you that guy who said that awful joke.
Oh, that's really funny.
I don't know if I can repeat it.
Well, I liked the one that was the two women are riding bikes in like an old city, and it says, "I've never come this way before," and the other one says, "Neither have I. It must be the cobbles."
It's so good. Did I send you that one?
Yeah.
It's the best. It must be the cobbles. Maybe that's why they ride bikes in Amsterdam.
Could be.
There is the biggest bird outside my window. I think everyone's vying. I don't know what sex my bird is that I rescued. But the other day, this is crazy. Australia's crazy. I came out to feed baby bird, who's not so much of a baby anymore. And there were two birds in a closed cage. There was a bird so desperate to get to my bird that it clawed its way through the bars and into the cage.
Weird.
Is that not? That's crazy. People are like, birds just want to be free. And I'm like, not this motherfucker.
I think your bird is probably a girl bird then, because I did a course.
It hasn't laid any eggs, though.
Well, right. It won't until it's... Because not all birds are chickens, right? They don't lay blighted ovum eggs, do they?
Yeah,
No.
they do.
Well,
they have to.
There's a price, right? That's a whole point of evolutionary biology is the price of eggs. So that men...
They're pretty cheap. Like, they're pretty cheap here.
Men want to copulate with as many women as possible, and women want to be as selective as possible. It's evolutionary biology.
Well,
and
I mean,
I'm the exception to the rule because I have no interest in copulating at all. Mostly just want to watch TV and go the fuck to sleep.
And that's the hilarity of the human condition, because like during our sexual peak as males, we want sex all the time, and then women are not at their sexual peak at that same time. So now Erin and I are having this shift where she's like, let's have it. And I'm like, what, a back rub? Like,
no.
my back's pretty sore.
Yeah, we never achieved that shift. We were like, okay, we need to conceive. Let's mark it in a calendar, and we'll try and make sure that we actually do it that day.
Well, Erin is like, back when we were trying to have babies, Erin was doing a lot of reproduction, like at work, and she timed it down to like the second. So like everyone's like, oh, well, the fun part's the trying. And we had sex once, and she's like, I'm pregnant. That's great news.
You're supposed to, quote unquote, accidentally come in her face. I'm sorry, I just couldn't last any longer. Next month, I guess, honey. You do that for 2 or 3 years, and
Could you? But you know what though? If we had children any later in life, I would just be like I would probably be dead from exhaustion. I'm so tired.
you started. You remember, you're 3 years younger than me, and you had
Yeah.
kids before I did.
Yeah,
So yeah, it sucks.
I'm so tired. And
Jack's good
you know,
now,
Aaron-
though. I will say this year, he's gotten really good. He's gotten a lot easier.
The kids are so like. I mean, the only exhausting part now is having to be awake during the day for me.
You know, it's funny. Our aunt Jabette died, but I was thinking about this. Stephen, yeah.
Funny.
You know what's hilarious? That Jabette's dead. No, I was thinking about how Stephen is 10 years older than Mum, but
Yeah.
his kids are younger than us.
Well, one of them is.
So he must have been 40 something when they had kids.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I don't know how old they were when they met.
I don't know.
But,
That's an odd.
my
That was an
Lanta.
odd coupling. Stephen and Jabette.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I
Stephen,
mean, it worked
I think
well.
Stephen used to be more energetic, maybe.
Oh, Steve, do you remember? He was so much fun. It sounds like we're eulogizing him, but he's had a stroke, and that's why we're kind of talking about
Multiple strokes.
like personality changes, like the old Stephen.
Well, and
was
he's got
so much-
severe diabetes. He's been like uncontrolled
I know,
diabetic for
but so much fun. Remember, like
35
we would
years.
go 4-wheel driving. We did the skeet shooting in the backyard. We would go and he did the fish pond, and we would
build
feed
a
the
fish
and try
pond
to
in the
catch them with our
backyard.
band hands. Like
that's
yeah,
right.
like there was a huge difference of Steve before and after stroke. Like that was a big blow to that family. So I think, you know, I don't think the pairing was so bizarre initially, and then when he had his stroke, then it was like we were only kids too. Like when he had his stroke, I was in junior high, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah, Stephen was. You're right. He was a lot of fun. Maybe
yeah,
that's
it
how
was
that
crazy. Yeah, and also like he got older. You know, he was 10 years older than our parents. So
Yeah. Yep. Mom is still going though. She plowed her own driveway this morning because I didn't have time to go over and help.
She
I
said,
thought she had somebody
my knee's
hired."
feeling so much better. You know, it's I'm much happier with how my knee's feeling. And then the next day, she's like, I plowed the driveway. I was like, holy shit. And I don't know. She doesn't know how to use the snowblower. I don't know if we have a snowblower.
No, she
anymore.
gave it to Dick Snow, ironically.
Oh, and then the fucking anus doesn't do her driveway for
That's
her.
right. Yeah, because he's selfish.
What a- I don't
Yeah.
know. Ah, the neighbors are mowing. We've had torrential rain. It's El Nino at the moment.
Oh.
So I'm going to El Nino. Do you remember when we had El Nino and there were so many pop culture jokes in movies and stuff like that about El Nino? Like people would come out of the bathroom after the toilet exploded or something like that to get a gun, and people would look at them all drenched and be like, huh, El Nino.
Yeah. I remember thinking, oh, I know what that means. El Nino, Spanish for the Nino.
Well, I'm going on a motorcycle training course today. It's nothing like formal. It's just some of the old guys that I ride with get together in a parking lot, and we do figure of eights. And it's called slow moves,
Yeah.
and I've been really looking forward to it because when I'm cornering my bike, I often get concerned that I'm going to have like a low side and hit the ground too low because I'm leaning over too far. So this is a good way of kind of finding out how far you can actually lean your bike before you die.
Right.
And so I'm doing that, and it's been raining for the entire week. So
So you're going to get like stick bugs in the face.
no,
That's the insects in Australia are a perfect reason to always wear a full face helmet. They're huge.
well,
They're
you
the
know,
size
I
of,
also
like, our pets.
I also wear a neckerchief when when I ride. And the
Yes,
one
one
time
should.
that I didn't, a bee, a hornet, hit me going. I was only going 60, thank goodness.
Yeah.
It hit me right in the neck, And the impact itself was rather painful, but it got me bum end, and it was stinging. It was stinging me, and I had to pull the stinger out of my neck.
When I took Jack on the dirt bike in Shediac, and we were going up to the store, the junk store, to pick up some junk food for him. And as I was riding, it was like I was fogging up inside the thing, and I just put it up a crack, the full face shield, visor. And I put it up a crack, and a big fuzzy bumblebee went through the crack and stuck between my temple and the helmet. And I could feel it freaking out. It was just going zzz, like full speed. And I had this kid on the front of the bike. I was like, oh my God, it was right beside my eye. And I could kind of just in the corner of my eye see the little stinger wagging back and forth on its tail. I said, oh my God. So I pulled over and like very calmly pulled over and then dumped the bike on, like picked up Jack, put him on the floor, or on the ground, dumped the bike and whipped my helmet into the ditch. And it didn't get me. It never stung me.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yikes. It's been so long since I've been stung by a bee. I was kind of worried that maybe I was allergic. I didn't remember. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just keep driving my motorcycle, I suppose. What's the worst that could happen?
Hey, are you getting the vaccine? Speaking of allergies?
Yeah, as soon as it comes out. So they've pushed it back here because the University of Queensland was producing a vaccine as well, which is effective, but you will test positive for HIV if you get it.
I saw that.
I was like, not worth the risk.
Yeah, I was glad I didn't have.
I'm sure that they could. I'm sure, like, if in a pinch, like the newer testing for HIV could then be like done by PCR or something like that to differentiate between a vaccinated person-induced, positive versus.
Well, you test positive for HIV for like 5 weeks or something, but then you don't test positive again. I don't think they're checking like your CD4 count. I don't think you have like full-blown AIDS.
You've got AIDS. Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a terrible disease, but it's pretty cash to have now. Apparently, like
what full-blown AIDS?
Like it's. Well, I don't know. I think HIV. I think it's pretty. Like you can treat it.
I know, but even if it came down to choosing whether to have it or not, I'd still probably pick no.
You reckon? I think that the only thing that freaks me out about
how do you feel about a super retro virus?
Well, it is retro now.
What do I look like, Freddie Mercury?
Kaposi
sarcoma. What is this? 1992.
Are you part of the HOG program, the Harley Owners Group thing?
Dad was. I used to be, but I'm not right now.
Well, I've joined that, and I'm joining. What is it? A chapter, and I went on my first group ride, and there were about
called?
30.
Hell's Angels.
Yeah, no, I don't think that they're going to accept me on my little bike.
Well, they'll take anyone, I think.
I don't know. I don't think there's. Well, actually, I don't think Hell's Angels are here in Australia, but I honestly
no,
don't
because
know.
you have the mongrel dogs or something like that.
Yeah, bandidos.
And the mongrel. It's not the Mongols. It's not the Mongols like in California. It's the mongrel dogs, and I think they're Samoan or something. They'll have those crazy tattoos like the All Blacks.
One, yeah, in New Zealand, and I think they're called the Mongols or Mongols. I honestly don't know, but they're they're not all like bad. They're not all like doing like crime.
If anything, if I've learned anything from Sons of Anarchy, and I'm pretty sure I have, even though they commit
5
crimes,
murders a day,
they usually have a heart of gold. They're locked inside an internal struggle.
Did I tell you that I'm watching the spin-off called Mayans?
Oh, you know what? I hope you didn't pay for it, because I bought it for Dad and I to watch, and he really liked it. But then he got sick, and he didn't want to watch anything intense, and I can't bring myself to watch it now without him.
No, it's good. I didn't buy it. It's on. I think it's the HBO channel here. It's called Binge, so
Okay.
it's kind of like Netflix, but it's all HBO shows.
We watched. I remember the scene where they cut off the guy's arms and legs.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was a good one.
That was good.
Because
I
they're
liked
dealing with
Narcos.
Drug
You-
cartels.
While we're talking about TV shows, though, I got really fed up with Utopia. I couldn't finish it.
What?
It was so loud and obnoxious. And so there's an old English one that's really good. Did
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
that show was
Yeah,
based on?
yeah.
So the English one is excellent.
Yeah,
And,
everyone said that the English. I tried to watch the English one after, but the story was so similar that.
The only character I like in this one is Rainn Wilson. I think he's really good.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
really don't like the girl who plays Jessica. What's her name?
No, they should have gotten someone.
Well, it's not. No, I mean the actor's fine. It's written
No,
shittily.
No,
And
I think that. But the thing is that it's hard to like her because she's not.
she kills somebody in the first episode that you're like, this is so goddamn dumb. Why
Yeah.
would you? Because she's supposed to be the person that you're like, you feel pity for or you feel attachment to, and I'm like, man, that was pointless. So from then
Yeah.
on, I was like, oh, I hope she dies. This show's stupid.
I know, and she never fucking does. You know what you should watch if you haven't watched it already, though, is the OA. Have you watched that?
The one where they dance,
No.
they do like modern dance to communicate with
Oh,
angels.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch that.
No, Jake, it is so fucking good.
It sounds
It is so good.
super, super gay. I'm not. I'd watch the Gilmore Girls. You know what show
No,
I really liked? What you should watch if you haven't seen it recently is the one with Claire Danes. Not Homeland. Go way back. Get in the time machine.
Romeo and Juliet.
My So-Called Life. It is
Oh.
so good, and when you watch it, it will remind you of being in high school because we were there in the '90s, and she's
Yeah.
got a gay friend who is Dale. Like her gay friend is exactly Dale. And Jared
the other one
Leto's
is
in it.
Freaks
He's
and
the
Geeks.
crush
Do you-
guy.
Do you remember Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah, that was a good show. Dad loved that show.
Yeah, that's probably like I've only watched it the one time, but I remember thinking that this is probably the best show ever, apart from Gilmore Girls.
See, I'm really into crime drama, so I like Bosch. I've been watching old episodes of Law and Order lately. Now, Abby in Law and Order, remember the years when she was the assistant DA?
I don't.
Okay, she's got long black hair. She looks kind of
No.
Italian.
I'd never
She
watched
is
it. Not a single episode.
The most attractive person who's ever been on television. But I have a feeling that she was a really weird looking kid. Sometimes people look real weird and then they turn into like, you're like, oh shit.
Well,
Like
remember,
Uma
we had
Thurman.
yeah, I know, but beware of that because remember Vanessa and Mom. Everybody was like, "Oh, she's an ugly duck now, but she'll be a beautiful swan."
No.
Never.
She turned into an uglier duck.
Yeah, she married a blind person. That's how bad it was.
I mean, lots of people marry blind people. And look, I'm ugly as fuck. That's okay. But nobody ever said I was going to turn beautiful. But Vanessa, everyone was like, oh, she's going to be a real knockout. No, she looks like something from Under the Sea.
But oh, Jake, that's not
Like
that bad.
she
But
got the face of a moray eel.
She, though.
Now maybe
when
I haven't seen her in about 20 years. Maybe they all. ended up
I
being
was in some of the same university classes as she was, and she was very, very kind. So
She's not a bad person. No.
No, she was very kind. So looks aren't everything, but they're a lot for me.
No, I gotta Google her. Holy
Google her.
fuck.
Google her.
God damn, she's a writer.
Ah,
You know what? She looks just like a normal person now.
no.
I'm gonna send you a text. Now this is heavily airbrushed, I will say, but she never had a problem with acne.
No, very clear
Shit,
skin.
I send it to Chrissy. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck, Jake?" Cancel,
Too late. Come back.
please.
Come back. I do hate that about technology and the no take backsies. I've once you push send, it's legitimately gone forever. Oh, no.
No, but if you saw that person in the street right now, you wouldn't be like, "Whoa, geez."
No, that's true.
You would
know
just
what?
be like, "Oh, normal
Maybe
person." There are lots of people look like that.
In hindsight, she was never really ugly. She was just eccentric. I remember in like grade
She's
6 or something like
an
that,
oddball.
she wore a mesh top with her nipples poking out the holes.
That was in junior high, and Colin Marr got physically ill. I remember. But that was, I mean, she's fine. She's, you know what? Now she looks totally normal. I think maybe it was just our perception. It's hard to say.
I think so.
I just didn't like,
Yeah.
you don't like girls, right, when you're a kid. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't, in fairness, I never picked on her. I was always, but
Yeah,
she was she was homely. So was I. I had no chin and buck teeth, and
Still
I
do.
still do. Only now I've got like a double chin with no chin.
And
It's like just
and you're a doctor, so
it's like
which
teeth.
makes you, immediately.
Okay, but I will say this. Her family presumably had a lot of stolen Jewish treasure or something because they were German industrialists who fled after the war and were accepted into Canadian society, and they are beyond wealthy. Like that's
Well, yeah, and kind of, they're kind of jerks.
the brother's a prick.
Yeah,
I can't say too
yeah.
much.
You
Let
can
me,
take the. Yeah, who would have thought that the tables would turn so dramatically on me?
I had low self-esteem, so I always had the big ones. That's mean because I'm the big one.
Oh no,
Chrissy probably
yeah.
has terrible self-esteem, but it works in my favor. Really?
Jeez, this is getting shorter and
Oh,
shorter. This podcast.
Listen, I will tell you one. I will tell you one story that's happened since we talked. My friend Peter, the lithe ninja of the forest who likes to hunt, and I told you our hunting story from before when we went through on our hands and knees in a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter has a piece of land that's 300 acres up in Norton, New Brunswick, and I was off on Monday because I had worked the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and so I had Monday morning off, and I took Monday afternoon off as vacation. And I told him I was off, and he said, "Well, let's go hunting up in Norton. I want to see the land anyway, and we got to see if we need to cut a road in or whatever." So I went up with him, and it was pretty dense brush, like it was pretty thick. And we only brought shotguns. I assumed we were hunting for pheasants or partridge, I guess. But he wanted to hunt for rabbits. And they were just starting, like hare, I guess you call them. They're just starting to turn white here. And Peter cooks them and eats them. And I was like, oh, that's as long as you eat it, I'll hunt it because I don't want to waste an animal, right? So we were climbing through the brush, and Peter sees this rabbit in front of him, and I had brought my duck gun because I haven't had it out all year. I never got duck hunting, and I just wanted to shoot it. And I didn't know what to shoot rabbits with. I always assumed you shot them with the .22, so I brought some goose load shells because I was like, it shoots almost like buckshot, like BB size.
Yeah.
And mine holds 3 shells in my shotgun. And so I'm crawling through the woods, and I hear bang, bang from way up ahead, and Peter's found this rabbit, and he shot at it. And then I hear, oh, fuck, and click, 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 bang, bang. And then this rabbit runs in front of me with its leg hanging off.
Oh.
He shot it in the leg. That was all he hit. So I had this goose load, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to let this thing suffer. And it was probably 20 feet in front of me. I figured I'll aim at the head. And I just aimed, and I went bang, 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 3 in a row. And the rabbit just fucking disintegrated. It just turned into this, like, hole in the ground with little twitching muscles and pieces sticking out of it. I was like, oh, shit. Sorry, Peter. So we picked it up, and it was like, it had like half a carcass. The back half was still in one piece, and it had a head hanging from it. We hung it on a tree, and I was like, I'll cook the legs when we get home or whatever.
Oh, gross.
And Peter got another one. So, we were in the woods for about an hour and a half, and Peter got the other one in the head, so it was okay. We took them home, and I brought it home, and I went to clean it, but it was so blown apart. I was like, I don't even know if this is worth it. But I felt bad not eating it. But there were guts, I'd blown the guts apart, so it smelled like shit. It was just like, you were like, oh, I don't know about this. And when I took the head off, you strip the skin off and you got the head.
Yeah.
I took the head off and I noticed these giant black balls in its ears. And I thought it was buckshot, or goose shot.
Yeah.
And I had a closer look and there were ticks. There were these huge fucking ticks all through the rabbit.
Yeah.
It was all over me. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not eating this. I'm pretty sure you can safely eat Lyme disease infected meat, but why would I take the chance? So I totally I killed this poor bunny for nothing, basically. But at the same time, Peter had shot it in the leg, and I didn't want it to suffer. So, no, I wouldn't even let her eat it. I was worried she'd get Lyme disease. It was covered in ticks. It probably
Did
had
I tell
20
you
ticks.
that I had a guy, like a client, and he said, his brother caught Lyme disease, and there's no cure for it, and he was going to Germany, I think, for heat therapy. And I was like, oh, what's that? And they're like, they increase your body temperature, to the point where you almost die, but it kills the what is it? What is, it's not a bacteria. It's like
Borealis something, yeah.
There's something, yeah. Babesia? Is it a Babesia? No. Anyway, so it kills that. And I was like, whoa, how do they get the temperature up so high? And he was like, well, they put you in a sauna and they put you in a heat suit. And then they put a metal rod up your ass and heat you from the inside.
It's like you're an induction heater.
Oh! I was like, just give me the Lyme. I'm already tired. How much worse could it get?
It's from Borrelia burgdorferi. It's a spirochete.
Spirochete. Yeah.
But, there is a cure. Instead of sticking the metal rod up your ass and heating yourself nearly to death, can just take the antibiotics. No,
they were like, we do not want any of your chemicals, Big Pharma.
That's what
shove a hot poker up my ass.
I don't care. You can have whatever opinion you want about vaccines. I don't really care, but I am friends with so many conspiracy theorists who are like, this vaccine is going to just sterilize people. It's all created by, people who want to depopulate the earth to save the environment. And I think, that's actually a pretty good story. But it's basically what Utopia is about.
Yeah, it's people are stupid, and they're doing these interviews, and a nurse fainted after she got the vaccination, and they're like, "Oh, the vaccine's gonna kill you," and it was like, no, she has a condition where she faints. They just blow everything out of proportion. But my question is, why would they choose that nurse to interview if they knew that she faints in response to pain? Don't scaremonger. Yeah. Anyway, that's I'd have no news, so I'm sorry that this is kind of boring. Happy Christmas! Happy
Merry Christmas!
No, I'm sorry. Merry holidays. I'm gonna lose a listener.
Happy holidays! Happy Hanukkah! Merry Christmas! Happy Kwanzaa!
As Bruce would say to me in June.
What's the
Happy
other one?
Hanukkah.
What's the other one that's going on? Kwanzaa. When's Yom Kippur? Is that Hanukkah? Anyway, happy holidays.
Merry holidays.
Peace in Christ.
Jeez. All right. Well.
I should give a little shout out, just in case he still listens to this absolute garbage. Shout out to Pastor Rob, who sent me a book. I was feeling a little low.
Oh, nice.
He sent me a nice book. I've been reading it. It's it was
Stephen
good.
King or
no. 50th anniversary Playboy.
Oh
No.
yeah.
No.
Seems more stuff.
It's Christian book, Christian literature. Anyway, it's been helpful, so thank you.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I'm sorry if he's still listening. I don't even know what this podcast has become, but you get a little bit of voyeurship into a conversation between me and my bro.
Yeah, well, I will prepare a story if we do another one. I thought tonight would be a good night because
I don't know if people enjoy the stories.
I enjoy
They're always
researching
so
them,
shit.
and since we haven't built a listenership, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I like.
listen or don't.
I'm a big fan of the paranormal. That's my. It's
Yeah.
fun for me because I don't believe in it. Oh, before on that parting note, I will tell you one funny thing that happened to me. I because I've been doing this hunting with Peter. Do I still have you there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, it's me, Daniel.
Because I've been doing this hunting with Peter, I started watching YouTube videos, and the obvious one I looked up was how to hunt because I was thinking
Oh,
of
yeah.
going deer hunting. And this guy does, he's Canadian, does all kinds of hunting videos, and it's mostly stories, but they're really engaging stories. The time we ran into a grizzly bear, he was a guide. The time the guy came, I was guiding a guy who was addicted to meth, all kinds of stuff like that. But now his channel has turned into a Sasquatch truther channel because he believes in Sasquatch and he thinks he's found evidence of the Squatch. And so now every single video he puts out, and he puts out like 3 a week, they're all about the Sasquatch. And I'm like, dude, I really am more interested in the hunting stuff. But it's interesting. The dude is, he lives in the wilderness, so that does give him some experience that I don't have. And he is, he's pretty convincing when he talks about it. He's like, look, I'm not saying, I'm not a crazy person. You guys know I'm not crazy. But I've seen a Sasquatch. So the way he talks about them, I'm like, man, maybe there is a Sasquatch. And like one of the things people talk
there
about, people write in, and he reads other people's stories. Almost all of them are like, I was up in the tree stand where I've been hunting for 40 years, sort of in the wilderness. And then I got this feeling that something was watching me, and it was like this, almost like a panic attack setting in. And it was this horrible feeling, and I could tell which direction the feeling was coming from. And then after it went away, that's that's my story. I got out of the tree and ran away. And everybody's like, yeah, that was a Sasquatch, dude. But I'm like, man, I've had pretty bad feeling lots of times.
Well, you know what I think is actually happening? Like, if this was happening in, I don't know, the Congo or something like that, people would be like, it's a monkey. But what's happening is that people get these pets, like chimpanzees or like, maybe like a gorilla or something like that. And they raise them, and then they're like, oh, this might tear my face off and pluck my eyeballs out like jujubes. I think I'm just going to get rid of it, but I love it, so I'll just let it go in the great outdoors. And then that's what people are seeing as Sasquatch or Sam Squatch, as Uncle Pete would say.
Yeah, but I think maybe it is just a predator though. Like that feeling, you do have. The woods go quiet when a big grizzly bear comes through, right? There is obviously a natural instinct to, I'm not going to say like to telepathically feel that a predator is close, but I think we are tuned in more than we think we are to the sounds of the forest. And, when a big bear is walking through the woods and you hear twigs breaking, even if you don't like conceptualize that that's what you're hearing, you probably do feel like, oh shit, there's something big
your
in the
little
woods here
lizard
with
brain
me.
is like, be unaware.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, that weird note, I will say goodbye, weirdos.
Yeah.
Have merry holidays, everybody.
May you find the Sasquatch of your dreams.
Of your dreams.
This Christmas. Oh. Jeez, that was an hour. The coffee's cold.